group, a group of Republican voters who are trying to decide who they are going to support in this contest. Okay, welcome back again, everybody. I want to ask you about that Santorum clip, because on the set last night, we were watching it live as he was delivering those remarks, and there was some talk about he clearly lost his voice a little bit in all the campaigning, but then he seemed to almost be working it a little bit, working the voice and the drama and channeling maybe a little his inner Clint Eastwood. I want to ask you what your reaction was to the drama of the remarks as we saw. Dee Dee?
Well, I don't think he channeled Clint Eastwood, pretty sure about that. But, you know, the thing with him, I'm sure he kind of felt bad because, you know, he asked the Democrats to vote for him, and he probably got hammered all day for that. In fact, I know he did. So he probably wasn't feeling too good, and he was trying to jazz it up. But what I think he was trying to do is take all the prime time because, you know, so he had the best time versus Mitt Romney. So I think he was stretching out for a reason.
Interesting. You know, did it jump out at anybody, the voice and the delivery and sort of the tone as good, bad, or unusual? So, yeah, go ahead, Victoria Jackalsi.
I feel that when he speaks that way, he's very inspiring, and I would not use a movie star. I would actually use George Washington. I think that he really inspires people, and it really moves us to say, yes, so that's the kind of man I want to lead me.
Interesting. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Tom Borelli.
Yeah, I think it was more of a libertarian almost tone, almost like the Ron Paul movement going that way, trying to.
Mary Walter's so happy.
Right. No, but in serious, that's what I think he's trying to do, that to moderate maybe some of his views on social issues. The good thing about Santorum is he's passionate. The bad thing is sometimes it comes off as angry, and that's his challenge.
Well, I want to ask you about Mitt Romney, because we saw him in that clip there, you know, working. He seems in his happiest place when he's going after Barack Obama. He can go after his fellow Republicans, but he seems in his happiest place when he's going after President Obama, and he did last night. This on the same day that he admitted to reporters that he's made some mistakes in this campaign, and that he has himself to fault for that. Not his campaign, not his staff, but himself. Are we seeing a different kind of Mitt Romney? Are we seeing somebody who's getting better at connecting, which has been his problem all along? Tony Selig.
Absolutely, and the great thing about watching Mitt Romney, I didn't start off as a Romney supporter, I am one now, is when he's challenged, he rises to that occasion. You know, he was challenged after South Carolina. He came roaring back in Florida. He was challenged back when Santorum won 3 states 2 weeks ago. He came roaring back yesterday with huge wins in Arizona and a better win than people realized in Michigan. Santorum spent more time, more money than he spent in any other state.
But he was outspent.
He was outspent
heavily by Mitt Romney.
But he had Romney one-on-one. He had more money in Michigan than any other state, and he still didn't necessarily win, because I do think Romney is excellent when he talks about the economy and fixing it, and Obama and fighting his record. Those are what make
Let me ask you that, because last night the exit polls showed that the voters cared way more about having experience in business than they did about having experience in government. For those of you on the panel who are Santorum supporters, like you, Barbara Gonzalez, do you feel the same, or can you get over the fact that Santorum has less experience in business than somebody like Romney?
See, now the way I see it, that the business experience, I see the way Santorum had come from last place. And where he got, and I saw a different Mitt Romney. I saw a shaken Mitt Romney. And the reason I see that is because he did not expect someone that was in last place to come to where he is and almost be, I mean, he came very close in his own backyard. And I think that Mitt Romney is now saying, I'm going to have to work. I mean, it's more than money. There's grassroots movement, and that means a lot.
Are the Romney supporters, or the folks who are, you know, either for Romney or not for Santorum, do you feel shaken at all by the fact that it was a close margin of victory and that Santorum came pretty close, even though it was Romney's native state? Go ahead, Tracy Davis, sorry.
I think that Mitt is a fragmented leader right now, and that he has a very tough fight ahead of him. He put so much money into Michigan, and whether it's his home or native state, it doesn't matter. It obviously mattered a lot to him, and for him to be have it be that close in Michigan, where he had twice as much money as Santorum, and Santorum did come from nothing, where he lived in Iowa for, you know, and got Iowa barely. But what I'm saying is, I think he has a lot of challenges, and both of them were harmed in the last couple of weeks. Santorum was harmed with his comments, and Mitt was harmed with a lot of his, with the Cadillac and the trees.
There was a lot of self-inflicted wounds by both candidates.
And so, you know, Gingrich is on the side. The way he was in South Carolina, he won that state in 5 minutes. minutes when he did the second debate. And, you know, he is going to take a lot of the southern states. And so what I'm just saying is it's going to be a three-way race again.
Mary Walter, your guy, Ron Paul,
Which, by the way, beat Gingrich in Minnesota, just saying.
But you know what? He had some good news yesterday. This Rasmussen poll came out, and out of the top 3 candidates, or the top 4 candidates, he was the only one shown to be beating President Obama.
Exactly.
But when you look at the average of all polls, he's still number 4 when it comes to the 4 Republican candidates.
But I think to go back to what you originally said about them moderating their message, I think that Republicans would be very foolish to not move away from the social issues, and because they can win it on the economy.
Yes.
They're not going to win it on social issues. So stick with the economy. That's what Ron Paul is doing. And there are a lot of people, even on this panel, who are not Ron Paul supporters, who have said they like him because he's consistent. They like him because you know exactly what you're getting. They'd be very smart to start to take some of what he's saying and bring it. You don't
Foreign
have to
policy is
adopt
the deal breaker for a lot of Republicans. Let me ask you, because Newt Gingrich says, that's fine, I didn't really heavily compete in those states, but I'm looking ahead to Super Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, and Georgia has the most delegates of any state at issue so far, and I'm going to win that state, he says.
Right.
And he thinks it's going to be a southern sweep for him.
Yeah.
Do you think that people are wrong to be counting Gingrich out at the way we've counted so many candidates out, only to see them rise again?
Most certainly, particularly if you look at the Gingrich success stratagem that he is putting into place, all eyes will be on him. I imagine he will sweep through Georgia and then proceed. And Gingrich reminds me very much of a Lincoln-type character, whereas our commander-in-chief has quite literally divided our house. So once we get through with this momentary strife of the candidates and put Newt Gingrich against Barack Obama, I imagine the decision will be very clear, and the Republican Party will fall in line behind him.
Jolie Todd, do you think that Santorum has now officially emerged as the non-Romney? Is Gingrich no longer in contention for that role?
Yeah, I think so.
You do?
I mean,
And you're a Santorum supporter?
Yes, I am.
So you are happy to see this?
I'm happy for Santorum. Yes,
Yeah,
that he did so well last night in Michigan. You know, however he got the votes. I mean, he did it. He knows.
Does that bother you? You say however he got the votes. Does it bother you? Because Romney called it disgusting that Santorum was appealing to Democrats. Just so our viewers know, Romney called it disgusting that Santorum was appealing to Democrats to come out and vote for him because it's an open primary. And they did. Okay, wait, let her finish her point. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of Democrats, I think, that would actually support him in the general election.
Tony, go ahead.
That's not the point.
It's not that Democrats were urged to support him. It wasn't an open primary. He's allowed to appeal to them. It was the fact that, number one, liberals like Michael Moore came out urging Democrats in Michigan to vote for Santorum. So obviously there was some corroboration there. Number two, he attacked Romney for not supporting the auto bailout, which he didn't support himself. So I think that was.
But he says Romney wasn't consistent. He says Romney supported a bailout for Wall Street, but not for Detroit.
But if you listen to that robocall, he almost insinuated that it was wrong that he didn't support the auto bailout.
You're suggesting there was some misleading.
I know.
You're suggesting candidates were doing misleading things in a presidential contest.
Can you believe it?
Look, I'm reading the GOP flag today. This was to nominate the GOP candidate, and Rick Santorum got in bed with the Democrats and Michael Moore, which is disgusting. And that was very wrong, and he honked off the entire party. That was a really bad move. It was not smart.
They're 17. If someone else could have done it and not gotten caught, they would have. It's politics.
But he blatantly did.
I'm starting to lose my little flavor that O'Reilly calls Little Bo Peep. I feel so uninnocent and corrupted now. Panel, I gotta run. She loves to have the last word. Tracy always loves to have the last word.
Mitt whined.
And she will take it.
Mitt whined, and he whined about that, which I think was disingenuous, because the thing is, he's the one who creams them with negative ads in all of the states. So for him to sit there and cry unfair is a little bit, you know.
I agree.
That was not attractive.
Panel, thank you all so much. A pleasure as always. What did you think? Send me your thoughts on Twitter. Follow me now, @Megyn Kelly. Love to have you aboard. Lots of fun pictures on there from election nights and otherwise.